Let's return to our top story. The Judicial Service Commission wants Western Cape Judge President Johann Hlophe to face an impeachment vote. A judicial conduct tribunal found Hlophe guilty of gross misconduct for trying to influence the outcomes of former President Jacob Zuma's corruption trial in 2008 by approaching two constitutional court judges. Now, the impeachment vote will be taken in the National Assembly. MPs will decide whether Hlophe should be removed from office. For more on this, I'm joined now by retired Justice Johann Kriegler. Justice Kriegler, thank you so much for your time this evening. It is indeed an honour. Johann Hlophe spoke to two constitutional court judges, Chris Jafta, Bess and Kabenda, and that is at the heart of this, am I right?
That is correct, Sally. Incidentally, good evening to you and to the viewers. That's correct, yes.
And one of his defences is judges always talk to each other. This was nothing out of the ordinary. Why does that argument not wash for you?
Sally, not whether it washes for me, it doesn't wash for any trained lawyer, and it didn't wash for the Judicial Conduct Tribunal. What he did wasn't to consult other judges or to offer advice to a colleague. He went from Cape Town to Braamfontein to go and lobby two judges of the Constitutional Court with whom he had no business whatsoever.
A decision still has to be made on whether he gets suspended before this vote goes ahead in the National Assembly. And it was last week we saw him actually in the National Assembly conducting the vote for the new Speaker. It seems bizarre to me that someone who's facing impeachment should not be suspended. But just talk us through your thoughts on whether he should be suspended in the meantime.
Sally, you used the correct word. It is bizarre. We have said for more than a decade that however long somebody manages to string out the ultimate final decision on Judge Hlophe, he should not in the interim be disgracing the bench on the Western Cape. He should have been suspended more than a decade ago. And I may say if he had been suspended, this case would have been dealt with long, long ago. It is bizarre.
There have been other complaints against Judge Johann Hlophe. Does that come into this matter at all? I suppose I'm asking in a way for an insight into his reputation.
It should not. Technically, it has nothing to do with the current situation, the current charge on which he has been convicted. I don't think that any person can disabuse her or his mind of the startling other evidence of misbehavior by Judge Hlophe over the years. But technically, it is only his attempt to lobby two judges of the Constitutional Court more than a decade ago. That's the issue at the moment.
So now this issue goes to the members of Parliament, who are all going to be given a copy of the majority and the minority judgment. They have to think, and I understand it's a 2/3 majority vote. It seems strange for politicians to have to become sort of legal experts in a way, but do you think this is the best way to decide if he's fit for office?
Sally, it's the correct way. It's the constitutional way. You know, we have a separation of powers with the executive and the legislature and the judiciary being three separate pillars of state. They watch one another. They watch over one another. They keep one another up to the mark. It is right that the legislature has a say in whether a member of the judiciary has misbehaved. The judiciary, as represented in the Judicial Service Commission, the legislature as they're represented, and the executive as they're represented, have already given a judgment. It is now finally for the National Assembly, and if it decides, it goes to the President formally for dismissal. It's a very momentous occasion. I believe it's a very solemn occasion. I think it's a very sad occasion. But at the same time, it is a vindication for the late Chief Justice Langa, whose name was reviled by Judge Hlophe for having laid the charge against him. I am pleased in his honor. It is his day, really, today.
Judge Kriegler, how concerned are you about a potential blurring of the lines, in general I'm speaking now, between politics and politicians and the judiciary? We know that this issue came up at the state capture inquiry. Just today, Advocate Dalium Mpofu was saying that he was concerned that 3 High Court judges in the Ace Magashule case have prejudged a matter in favor of Jesse Duarte and Cyril Ramaphosa. It's crucial that we separate powers, but how concerned are you about attacks on the judiciary and a blurring of the lines with politics?
Sally, deeply concerned, deeply concerned. But the issue of whether Judge John Hlophe should be dismissed is not a political issue. It's a perfectly straightforward ethics issue. He was unworthy of judicial office in what he did. He is not fit to be a judge. That's not a political issue. I am astounded. Really not astounded, that's not true. I am disappointed, though not astounded, that there is a minority decision on the issue whether to confirm the Judicial Conduct Tribunal's very, very clear, fair, reasoned, and obviously correct decision in regard to Judge Hlophe. It should be no more than a formality in Parliament. The man's peers have found him guilty. He's had every opportunity, and what is clearly been proven against him renders him not fit to be a judge. It is sad. It's tragic. It's tragic that an iconic figure such as John Hlophe should be the first South African judge to be impeached. But there it is. The facts are clear. There is no room for politics in it, I'm sad to say.
Thank you so much, retired Justice Johann Kriegler there.